Hello, I'm Danielle. Today I'm going to discuss a unique impact created by computer technology, which is its effect on health, both mental and physical. Because digital devices have been integrated into so many aspects of life, including work, education, socializing, we use it for entertainment, ordering groceries, buying clothes, reading books. We're just on digital devices a good majority of the day. Unfortunately, these devices were not designed with human health in mind, and their overuse is causing a major issue in our overall health. I'm going to go over a few of the major ways that computer technology has impacted health. Our health includes both our whole physical body and also our mental health. These two are not mutually exclusive, but today I will break up the topics in this way to make it easier. It is good to remember, though, that if you affect your body health, you could also be affecting your mental health and vice versa. Under physical health, I'm going to discuss several causes that the use of technology has, like promoting sedentary behavior, poor ergonomics and repetitive movements, and the use of screens on visual health. Under mental health, I will discuss the effects of social media and information overload on our emotional health and cognitive functioning. There are many other aspects of technology that influence your health as well, but these are some of the main ones that cause major issues. Obviously, to use a computer, a tablet, or a smartphone, it is designed for you to be sitting and not moving too much. Doing this for long lengths of time and day after day is not good for your health, though. It leads to heart disease and weight gain, which in turn turns into diabetes, all of which increase your chances of mortality. In a study done by Stamatakis et al., people who sit for more than 8 hours a day have a 52% higher risk of mortality compared to those who sit for less than 4 hours a day. So if you work at a desk and your typical work day is 8 hours, you've already met that limit. Then if you go home and sit some more, maybe you're doing online classes, or maybe you like to game or sit and scroll social media, read articles online, you're only adding to this 8 hours. There have been some inventions that help alleviate these risks, like standing desk and then exercise equipment you can use on the computer. But according to the study, it needs to be moderate to vigorous physical activity. That means at the very least walking briskly. These devices invented to help exercise while at your desk aren't really going to help you achieve that. Even if they did, you would still need to do it for at least an hour and a half to 3 hours a week to decrease your chances of heart disease, if you still plan on sitting for 8 hours a day. So because computer design is mostly done sitting or being relatively inactive, and since computers are a large part of many people's lives, it will take true effort of users or a redesign to decrease sedentary behavior enough to improve physical health. So have you ever seen those old mouses where there was absolutely no shape to them, or chairs that look like torture devices, or the old computer screens with no height adjustability? Those are examples of poor ergonomics. A product was made for a purpose, but there was no thought put into the user or their comfort. Nowadays, there have been improvements in mouse designs and pads and such to put on your wrists, which is all very helpful. There are also guidelines to follow for better posture, as well as seen here. But again, because we sit at desks for so long, we forget our posture, which causes musculoskeletal issues such as lower and upper back pain. There's also the fact that these devices require repetitive movements over and over again. Typing like an 8-page paper or something, data entry with hundreds of columns, emails that never end, and also clicking around or playing video games. But this long-term repetitive movements on the wrist can cause what's called RSI, which is repetitive strain injuries. One such example is carpal tunnel syndrome, which is nerve pain in the wrist. Carpal tunnel can be helped with non-invasive treatment, but it usually requires surgery to get rid of it. So although there are new designs to help with ergonomics, the major issue still is reliance and the time spent on these devices. Even if you were to set up your desk area correctly, it's difficult to keep perfect posture for several hours straight. It is just another issue caused by computer technology and our reliance on it. So interacting with computers and other devices requires a screen. But staring at a screen, or anything for that matter, 6 inches to 2 feet away is just not good for vision health. For the case of digital devices, it even has its own name, digital eye strain. The symptoms include dry eyes, itching, watering, blurry vision, and headaches. Not only can staring at screen cause eye strain, it can actually change your eye. Studies show that those who stare at screens for more than 2 hours a day have an increase in myopia and astigmatism, which is nearsightedness. So staring at a screen is pretty much just training the eye to only see things close up. It is just constantly being focused on things that are near, that when it needs to see things far away, it's harder for it to focus. The study actually said only 2 hours. Now imagine what is happening to the eyes if they are on a screen for 6 to 8 hours. A phone screen is going to be even worse because typically you hold them even closer. So this is just another reason why prolonged use of digital devices is bad for your physical health. So now I'm going to move on to mental health issues. The first being the effects of social media. So there's this social psychologist, Jonathan Haidt. He is the author of the book called The Anxious Generation, and he believes social media is a cause of issues with teen mental health. So he thinks that there was this shift away from a play-based childhood to a phone-based childhood. So this happened right about the time that parents were frightened to let their kids go out of their houses lest they get hurt or kidnapped. And then right at this time, this just so happened to be the rise of the smartphone and social media. This was about 2010 to 2015. So now imagine kids aren't allowed to go outside and socialize and develop and learn as they used to. Now that is all being done by the phone. At this same time, the rates in anxiety, depression, self-harm, and suicide starts to also go up. So let's look at some charts. Okay, so the first chart I have here is daily social media users. As you can see, you have this range 2010 to 2015, and it just really starts increasing. So we can see around 2010 to 2015, people are really starting to use phones nearly every day is what it says. So you've got like 80% of 12th graders, 70% of 10th graders, and that's the max. it just keeps increasing. So here is another chart: U.S. Emergency Department visits for self-harm, ages 10 to 14. Again, this area right here is 2010 to 2015. And you can see how girls just spiked. And now boys are starting to rise too, but really 2010, 2015 increase in self-harm. Next, this is the percent of U.S. undergrads with mental illness. Again, this gray shaded is 2010 to 2015, and we can see that like the anxiety and depression in undergraduates is increasing. I think I have one more. So this chart is percent US anxiety prevalence, and right here you can see the gray shaded is that 2010 to 2015, and this age group right here are going to be the people who have grown up with social media and phones in their childhood. So you can see that their anxiety levels are way higher than, say, somebody like who's 50 who didn't grow up with phones in their childhood. And so like I'm right here, and I didn't have phones in my childhood, and I didn't have social media until after high school. So it wasn't really didn't really affect my childhood and developmental age as, say, some of the younger generation. So anyways, having this constant anxiety and depression during a developmental age teaches your brain to think like that, and that those effects can linger into your 20s and 30s if not addressed. And like I showed in the first chart, teens and younger kids are on their phones more than ever, and it's just another negative effect that computer technology has had on our health. So information overload is pretty self-explanatory. It's when you go on the computer and there's just so much information, you don't know how to process it. Not only can it affect your emotional health, but it also affects cognitive functioning, aka how your brain thinks. So we have so much access to so much information, it is daunting to try to focus sometimes. We have to ask, is this true? What are the motives behind this information? Is there another side to it? Additionally, you get a lot of irrelevant information, ads, clickbait, funny cat videos. I mean, sometimes those are useful, but compared to the past when you opened a newspaper or a book to get your information, focusing was so much easier. You didn't have emails flying in, notifications on your phone, ads enticing you to go on that trip you were talking to your friend about the other day, but in no way typed into your phone, okay, suspicious. Anyways, all this information and having to process this information leads to stress, causing you to sometimes make bad decisions. Like buying that dress on Amazon. It also rewires your brain, not focusing on what task or bit of information trains your brain well to not be able to focus. It trains it to be to multitask. And just so you know, that's not a thing. It's just task switching at a high rate, which really is less efficient and less productive. So pretty much you're training your brain to not be able to focus. This is just another effect overuse of computer technology has on our mental health. Okay, now that, you've kind of got an idea of all the ways that technology can hurt your health when talking about the global analysis. So the effects technology use has on the physical and mental well-being of people is mostly caused by heavy use. And heavy use occurs in developed countries more often than developing ones because we have access to the internet and digital devices. And when we incorporated it into our lives, we really incorporate it into every facet of life. Work, school, home, shopping, like I said before. It is hard, however, to compare the health of developing countries like remote African regions that don't have access to internet to places like Europe or North America because they have other factors that hurt their health. Although it is shown as they develop and gain access to education and an increase to online health services, it helps with their overall health. As they develop, though, it will be important to provide them with information on the negative effects digital devices have so they can prevent what has been found in developed countries. So now we're on to the ethical analysis. So initially, inventors and companies' focus of design was to make it faster and smaller and less expensive. The health of users was not a major concern. Using the ethical theory of utilitarianism, which emphasizes the greatest good for the most amount of people, utilitarianism uses a scale. Does the good outweigh the bad? And in this case, I don't believe that priority should be given to productivity and convenience over people's health. Technology companies and businesses utilizing them should put a greater importance on health over making more money. Users, though, also need to take responsibility in this and will have to make difficult decisions in where they work and how they spend their free time. Hopefully in the future, though, we can all come to an agreement for what's best for everyone, as utilitarianism would have. So here's a little triangle of human needs, and if you don't know it, at the bottom is the most important and the top the least. And this is just a joke. Internet is not a need. Health is. In conclusion, while information communication technology has enhanced our lives in a lot of places around the globe, it also has had a big negative impact on a pretty important aspect of life, our health. Due to its design, though, it can be very hard on both the body and the mind. Then to exasperate these issues, people rely on it and use it so much. It is important, though, for users and businesses to educate themselves on the effects technology has on humans' health, then to regulate or reduce the amount of time they require on such devices. So thank you.